Managing debt becomes difficult when you can see the whole picture. You have credit cards, buy now, pay later, a car loan, a housing loan, and they all have different balances, different payment terms, different interest rates, and different timelines. So I created this debt management calculator for one simple reason: to put everything in one place. And more importantly, you don't have to calculate everything again every time you want to review your debt. Let me show you how it works. Before we enter anything, let's start here. The debt review date. This is probably the most important date in this entire calculator. This tells the calculator, as of this date, where am I with all of my debts? For this example, I'm using August 9, 2026. Remember this date because we'll come back to it later. Let's start with revolving credit. These are debts like credit card where the balance can continue changing. For this example, let's say we have 3 credit cards. Credit card 1, 3,000 balance, credit card 2, 2,000 balance, and credit card 3, 1,000 balance. Instead of keeping all these balances in your head or checking 3 different accounts every time you want to know how much you owe, we're putting everything in one place. Next is the entry date. Now, this is not necessarily the date when you first got the debt. The entry date simply tells the calculator when the balance you're entering was accurate. So in this example, if credit card 1 has a balance of 3,000 as of August 9, 2026, that's what we enter, even if the original balance was higher and you've already made some payments. What matters here is how much you actually owe as of the entry date, because that's the starting balance the calculator will use moving forward. Then we enter the annual interest rate. For this example, we'll use 22%. Of course, when you're using this calculator, enter the actual information for your own debt. I'm just using sample numbers here so you can see how everything works. Next, we have the minimum payment. This is the amount your bank requires you to pay on your credit card. Of course, your statement will also show you the full amount you could pay to settle the balance. So if you are planning to settle that full, then you don't need to enter that one in the calculator. But if you will not settle the full amount, what I want you to pay attention is this planned payment. This is how much you personally plan to pay toward that credit card each month. So for credit card 1, for example, the minimum payment is 100. But let's say we're planning to pay 300 each month. For the other 2 cards, we'll use the 100 each. The calculator will then use those planned payments together with the balance, entry date, and interest rate to estimate how much the debt could move forward. Now, there's one more important thing to remember. If you change your planned payment during a future debt review, you should also update the balance to your latest actual balance and change the entry date to the date that new balance is accurate. That's because we're giving the calculator a new starting point. For example, if you've been paying 300 per month but later decide to increase it, first check your actual outstanding balance at that time. Update the balance and entry date and then enter your new planned payment. That way, the calculator starts from your latest confirmed balance and uses your new payment plan to estimate what happens from that point forward. If you change the planned payment without updating the balance and entry date, the estimate may no longer be accurate. Notice what's happening here. We originally entered 6,000 in total credit card balances, but the calculator can estimate what those balances should look like as of our debt review date. And that's an important distinction. We're not only asking how much did I owe when I entered this information. We're also asking, based on my payment plan, approximately where should I be now? And that's what makes this useful as an ongoing debt management tool. Next, we have short-term installments, which are debts with a term of 5 years or less. For example, if you have a buy now pay later, you can input that here. Let's say that your original purchase amount is 6,000. For this example, there is no interest. The monthly payment is 1,000, Then we enter the start date, the first payment date, and the installment term. In this case, 6 months. From there, the calculator knows the expected end date. And based on our debt review date, it can estimate how much should still be outstanding. So we're slowly building one complete picture of all our debts. Then we have long-term installments, which are debts with a term of more than 5 years. This could include something like a housing loan or a car loan, but the process is similar. We enter the information that describes the actual loan, the original loan amount, interest rate, monthly payment, and if applicable, MRI and any other fixed monthly fees. Then we enter the start date and the loan term. The calculator uses those details to estimate where the loan should be as of our debt review date. You'll also notice that there are additional fields here for things like a loan adjustment date, a new interest rate, or a new monthly payment. That's because long-term loans can change. Your interest rate might change, your monthly payment might change, or your loan could be restructured. If that happens, you can update the relevant information here instead of rebuilding your entire debt tracker from the beginning. The calculator is designed to continue working as your debt changes. Now, we have something much more useful than a simple list of debts. We have our revolving credit, our short-term installments, our long-term installments, and the calculator brings everything together into one debt picture. So instead of thinking, I have some credit card debt, I have buy now, pay later, I have a car loan, and I have a housing loan, you can actually see everything together in one sheet. How much debt is remaining, when certain debts are expected to end, and approximately how much you're currently committed to paying every month. But now, let me show you the part that makes this calculator really useful. Remember this? The debt review date. Our original review date was August 9, 2026. Now, let's say a few months have passed. It's now January 1, 2027, and I want to review my debt again. I don't need to create a new calculator. I don't need to manually calculate every remaining balance again. I simply change the review date and watch what happens. Once I change the date, the calculator automatically moves the estimates forward. Look at the revolving credit. The estimated balances have changed. The approximate months remaining have changed. The short-term installment has moved forward. The long-term loans have been estimated forward. And the dashboard now gives us an updated estimate of our total debt and our current monthly obligation as of January 1, 2027. And this is exactly why the debt review date is so important. You enter all your debts properly once, then whenever you come back to review your debt, you update the debt review date, and the calculator does the rest. You don't need to have, again, entering all these numbers every month and manually update every estimated balance one by one. Just remember that these are all estimates. If your actual balance is different, your payment changes, you make additional purchases, your interest rate changes, or your loan is restructured, update the relevant information using your latest confirmed figures. Your lender's statement is still your source for the actual confirmed balance. This calculator is here to help you track, estimate, and understand the bigger picture. And that's really the goal. Know what you owe, review it regularly, and watch the number go down over time. Because that makes much easier to manage when you can finally see the whole picture. Remember, make one decision today that your future self will thank you for.